You're listening to AI PRISM from Seoul Economic Daily.
It's Wednesday, May 27. Let's get into one of Korea's top economic stories today. We're really looking at a nation sprinting into the future right now, smashing market records, launching nuclear submarines, but simultaneously tripping over its own rigid internal rules.
Yeah, it's a fascinating tension. You have this rapid external growth clashing with, well, stagnant internal governance. And if you look at the data, you start to see companies and everyday investors actively bypassing traditional limits just to, keep moving forward.
Right. And let's start with how you might actually see this in the markets. The KOSPI just crossed 8,000 for the first time ever, which puts the total market cap at a staggering 6,581 trillion won, or about 4.7 trillion US dollars.
It's just massive.
It really is. I mean, we're looking at giants like Samsung Electronics nearing 300,000 won, roughly 210 US dollars a share, and SK Hynix is surging toward a 1 trillion US dollar market cap. But the mechanics behind this milestone are what really caught my eye.
Exactly, because the underlying engine here is entirely domestic. It's a massive structural shift. Historically, foreign institutional money dictated the KOSPI's direction, right? But today, retail investors are largely abandoning individual stock picking. They're pouring capital into systematic exchange-traded funds or ETFs. When you buy into a broad ETF, that fund automatically purchases the underlying index stocks.
So it just mechanically drives up the valuations of heavyweights like Samsung.
Right, completely, regardless of traditional valuation metrics.
It's basically a financial autopilot. And the divergence is wild. Domestic ETFs bought 1.4265 trillion, won about 1 billion US dollars just today.
Wow.
Yeah, while foreign investors have dumped 46.5 trillion won, roughly 33.2 billion US dollars over 13 consecutive sessions. So if we have offshore institutions bailing out while this domestic autopilot blindly steers the index up, how fragile is this milestone for people to trust?
Oh, highly fragile. An ETF-driven market creates a momentum feedback loop. It goes up smoothly, but it is completely decoupled from fundamental institutional conviction.
Meaning a macro shock could be dangerous.
Exactly. If a macroeconomic shock triggers retail panic, that same automatic system will just execute massive indiscriminate sell-offs.
Speaking of a rigid autopilot missing the mark, that actually explains a corporate disaster we saw this week. Shinsegae Group's chairman, Chung Yong-jin, just delivered a highly unusual three-bow public apology over a Starbucks Korea marketing campaign.
Ah, right. The military-themed Tank Day promotion?
Yeah, for the month of May, which is a huge issue.
A reputational catastrophe.
Yeah.
To understand why a tank promotion in May is so bad in Korea, you have to understand the May 18 Gwangju democratization movement. In 1980, a pro-democracy uprising was violently suppressed by the military.
Right, so associating tanks with May isn't just tone deaf.
No, it directly evokes one of the most painful, sensitive human rights tragedies in modern Korean history.
But that history is profound. But here's what I don't understand about the corporate mechanics. This wasn't an accidental tweet. It cleared team leaders, marketing executives, all the way to CEO-level approvals with zero objections.
Yeah.
Does this signal a dangerous yes-man risk within the chaebol corporate culture?
It absolutely reveals a severe vulnerability there. These family-run conglomerates often operate on a strict, top-down hierarchy. Junior employees who definitely recognized the historical landmine likely felt entirely unempowered to challenge it once it gained momentum among senior execs.
So the internal risk management failed because obedience is prioritized over critical feedback.
Exactly.
But while some conglomerates trip over domestic history, others are actively bypassing domestic regulations entirely. We're seeing Korean trading firms routing stablecoin payments through Standard Chartered in Hong Kong just for international trade.
Right. This is a direct consequence of Korea's Digital Asset Basic Act. It created this strange regulatory asymmetry. Everyday retail citizens can trade crypto, but corporate entities are strictly banned from accessing it.
But international trade increasingly relies on the speed and low fees of stablecoins.
Right, so to stay globally competitive, these Korean firms are forced to offshore their treasury operations.
It's like building a strict toll booth on the highway, only to watch all the commercial traffic simply detour through the grass. By forcing these firms offshore, isn't Korea just forfeiting its piece of a $390 billion US dollar global stablecoin market?
They're completely forfeiting the institutional infrastructure to Hong Kong. The regulation was designed to ring-fence the domestic economy from crypto volatility.
But it's just displacing the economic activity instead.
Yeah, displacing the activity and the technological innovation.
This push to bypass external limitations extends to the ultimate sovereign level too, national defense. South Korea just announced the Jangbogo-N nuclear submarine program.
Right, targeting a mid-2030s launch using low-enriched uranium.
And there's an upcoming June U.S. delegation visit for consultations. This feels like a huge shift.
It is. It represents the ultimate realization of jaegookbang, which is the doctrine of autonomous national defense. By transitioning to nuclear propulsion, the submarine doesn't need to surface to recharge batteries.
Giving the Korean Navy virtually unlimited underwater endurance.
Exactly, and massive geopolitical reach, fundamentally altering the maritime balance of power.
So how does this multi-decade procurement reshape the defense sector for shipbuilders like HD Hyundai and Hanwha Ocean?
It completely transforms them. They evolve from being, dominant commercial shipbuilders into top-tier strategic defense assets globally, and they're backed by decades of guaranteed, highly advanced government demand.
It leaves you with a really fascinating paradox to think about. As Korea rapidly evolves from AI memory chips to nuclear submarines, you have to wonder if its technological ambitions are destined to continuously outpace its internal governance frameworks. That's today's AI PRISM, Front Page Daily. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI PRISM is a Won IFRA award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.
You've been listening to AI PRISM from Seoul Economic Daily.